Hello, my name is Roberto Alfonso, and today I will be replying to Dr. Chapman's video presentation on YouTube. In my reply to you, Dr. Chapman, I will be referring to two books in specific: Genes, Behavior, and the Social Environment, and Who Will Keep the Public Healthy, Educating Public Health Professionals for the 21st Century. These two books will be my main sources for replies and information that I will be presenting in my video presentation. Dr. Chapman, in your YouTube presentation, you mentioned that behavior of a population and the access to care are one of the overwhelming factors in causing premature deaths. In the first book that I had mentioned as a reference, there's a lot of points that go alongside to what you said about behavior playing a big part in premature deaths in a population. In this book, it is mentioned that socioeconomic factors as well as the culture of a population can play a big role in their health. It is similar, if not just the same, as what you mentioned, Dr. Chapman, about the behavior of a population affecting their health. So I decided to see what sources and what resources could relate to what you said, as well as the other points you brought along with this. So in March of 2016, the CDC's National Center for Injury Prevention and Control mentioned their top 10 concerns for health within a population. These top 10 concerns were 1. Alcohol-related harm, 2. Food safety, 3. Healthcare-associated infections, 4. Heart disease and stroke, 5. HIV, 6. Motor vehicle injuries, 7. Nutrition, physical activity, obesity, 8. Prescription drug overdose, 9. Teen pregnancy, and 10. Tobacco use. From these top 10 concerns of the CDC, we can agree that a majority of them have to do, or in relation to what you mentioned, Dr. Chapman, behavior within a population. However, going back to the first book I had mentioned as a reference, it is also mentioned in there that one of the biggest factors in a population's health that changes it drastically, either up or down, is always education. Dr. Chapman, I know you mentioned behavior and access is one of the leading factors in premature death, but wouldn't you say behavior is tied into education, more specifically, education in health? When I refer to education and health, I refer also to public health. Public health is a huge factor in any community, and it makes a huge difference when you're properly educated in public health and what your community has to be worried about. In the first book, it is mentioned that education plays a variable or role in our health. When this was tested, it is shown that higher education proves to show lower mortality rates. In the second book, they mention that they play a role in education. They provide the role of advising and giving resources to people growing up and studying about public health concerns. So tying these points together in terms of behavior, I feel that behavior on its own doesn't really is what determines the outcome for a population, but I feel that isn't the main issue or the sole issue for what you mentioned being a huge variance to premature deaths. I feel that the behavior that affects the outcome of a population derives from public health educating that population. The reason I mention this is because public health plays a huge role in educating people and providing them resources about their concerns for our health. So for example, the CDC mentioned one of the issues being tobacco use. So we already now have a lot of resources that give us information about, what are the effects of tobacco use, what are the potential effects on your health, short-term and long-term, and they provide a lot of there's a lot of advertisements about it, there's a lot of material that's passed to you when you're studying in school, whether you're young or older, and many things like that. But there's other issues that aren't always mentioned as much or given as much resource and funding. So these issues can grow over time, which can cause or add to the variance of premature deaths. So I feel that public health is what ties into behavior of a population, because if I'm not educated properly in a topic, how am I supposed to know how to do something or not to do something if I wasn't given, the resources or tools to know how to do that? So I do agree with you that behavior does play a factor or role in having poor health outcomes, but what I don't believe is that it's the sole and main reasoning. I feel a lot of that has to fall into education and public health and being able to provide to the population resources, information about how to properly take care of their health and how to prevent things such as drug usage or controlled drug usage, and things like texting and driving, alcohol use, all those things. That's pretty much all I have to say on the issue, and I appreciate taking your time to discuss this with my class. Thank you so much.